The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Huddle Up here inside of the Bambino's Fine Italian Studios on the Missouri Sports Network. We are glad you are here. Stay with us for an hour or so. We'll be real quick with it, and DA knows what I'm talking about. Hey, listen here. This is Johnny Mack. That's Guy Newcomb, and that's that's Darren Archer right there. We call him Coach. Fellas, how's everybody doing out there?
Hey, doing great, except I'm a Cardinal fan, so I'm kind of been miserable here for a while, but crap, they suck.
Yeah, well, yeah, DA. What about your Cubs? How they doing?
Hey, doing great, but I'm a Cubs fan. God, they suck. I think we're all in the same boat, boys.
Man, misery definitely loves company. Look, we're going to jump right into it. We're glad you all are here. We got a couple things we're going to talk about, and first thing we're going to start off is the Cardinals. And I hate it. I hate it. I wish we could have better news, but Guy, we are in a free-for-all, and I think it is time to make some massive and major changes. Guy, what is the problem with the St. Louis Cardinals?
Well, they can't hit, they can't pitch, and they can't field. Other than that, they're tremendous. But they're 65 and 67. They're 10 and a half games out. They're 2 behind the freaking Cubs now. I mean, and that may be the worst part of it. And the attendance has gone down and continues to go down. On Tuesday, the lowest ticketed attendance since Busch Stadium 3 opened. 27,000 tickets, and not even half of those showed up. And I mean, it was so bad the Padres TV announcers are making mention of it on the air. So if you thought, as a St. Louis fan, that nobody else was paying attention, everybody knows that the Cardinals aren't drawing anything.
Well, DA, when things like this happen, more than anything to me, more than any sport, and take this for what it's worth. If you're big up front in football and you can run the ball, you're going to pound some people. Talent's going to play itself in football. If you got some talented athletes in basketball that can dominate, do some things, talent's going to play in basketball. So coaching is you take that out of there. But I do believe in baseball. You have to have some continuity, coach. And you got to let those guys get out there and play. And when I look at the Cardinals, I see different lineups every day. I see a manager that's had his shot and is not leading. And now you got Schultz coming in after being dismissed by the team. And here he is handing it to us. DA, what do you think? What do you think about our leadership? Are we on the right track, or we need to make some changes?
Oh, I think changes are in store. Whether those changes will be made or not remains to be seen. That's up to ownership. What got Schultz let go is what is burying Marmol right now, and that is the front office are making the calls on the lineups and so forth and so on with all the sabermetrics. And I think a lot of those lineups are being handed down from up above. And, I mentioned it last week. I'll mention it again. Hey, as a Cubs fan, as long as John Mozeliak is kind of running the ship over there, I'm a happy camper. I just really think that's where the problem starts. And I'm just being upfront and honest to, some of the moves that have been made. And, here's what's crazy is they were buyers pretty much at the break before the deadline. And they've kind of fallen flat on their face. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the offseason. I think Marmol will make it throughout the rest of the year. but I think after that he's dead man walking. It's going to be interesting to see what ownership decides to do with Mozeliak. I'm not real sure how many years he has left on his contract, but I would say that's going to play in the decision. But at the same time, I really think that that's where change needs to start.
Yeah, he has 1 year
in the front office.
Yeah, I agree with you. He has 1 year left on his contract, but you also got to look at this. Baseball, you just got to produce. Goldsmith isn't producing. As we look at some of the things that we saw in the last couple of games, the Cardinals struck out 8 times yesterday, Guy, and some of their younger talents just not producing. Baseball is the most. You have to produce, not at an incredible rate, just 2.5 to 3 times out of 10. You got to produce. And if you're not doing that, Guy, it's going to be hard for us to keep you in the lineup. What do you say, big fella?
Well, I think, too, when they call up Luken Baker and he gets a walk-off pinch hit home run the day he gets called up, he's still up, but he's not playing every day. I mean, he hit 32 home runs in the minors and was leading the league in home runs in the minors. They bring him up, and then they sit him. And consequently, he's hitting 111. He struck out 3 times on Tuesday. They pulled the same stuff with Jordan Walker. You pull him up, if you're going to pull him up, especially with your being 10.5 games out, you're not making the playoffs. Play those guys, let them get some at-bats. Look what it's done for Mason Wynn. I mean, he's in the Rookie of the Year conversation, but he plays every day. And so I think if you're going to call him up, you got to play him every day.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. And you know what? We go from a very bleak pitcher to a very rosy pitcher on the other side of the state, where the Royals are kind of doing what they're supposed to be doing. They ended up having some good draft picks, made some good pickups. And they solidified their club, coach. And as you can see, they're playing good baseball. Do they have the pitching and the depth to go all the way? I tell you what, all it takes is a team getting hot, coach, and you can make a run in the MLB playoffs, coach.
Hey, if they're in the playoffs, they got a shot. Absolutely. And that's the main key right there is, right now I think they sit at almost 90% chance of making the playoffs, 88 point something or other, to make the playoffs. Those are pretty good odds this time of year. And if they get in, hey, they've proven they can play with anybody. There's some heavy hitters, obviously, in the American League with Yankees and Orioles and even Cleveland to a certain extent. But this past week has been really good for the Royals. Especially at Cleveland. That's who they needed to beat. They won 3 out of 4, and that was a big gain for them. Hey, they put themselves in a position to be division champs.
That's crazy, isn't it, big fella? Guy, when you look at what Bobby Witt is doing at home, I mean, and Salvy's going to do what he's doing, but Bobby Witt Jr. is something to behold. What do you say about that guy?
Well, he's the best player in baseball right now, and you got to give that. You got to put Aaron Judge at the top of that. Aaron Judge may be the face of baseball right now because he plays on the East Coast. But Bobby Witt does it defensively. Now, he had a couple of mishaps in this series with Cleveland, but you're going into that series with Cleveland at Cleveland. And if you'd have told me at the beginning of it that your first 3 pitchers were not even going to go 5 innings, your bullpen was going to have to pitch 16 2/3 innings in those first 3 games. You get a 2-hour rain delay in the game on Tuesday, and then Michael Lorenzen pitches 2 1/3, and he gets hurt. And the defensive problems that they had in this series, with that combined, and your bullpen, who is probably your weakest link going into that, if you had told me, yeah, and you're going to win the first 3, I'd have taken it. But then today, they let the 4th one get away. They get 3 solo home runs in the first 2 innings, 1 from Bobby Witt. They get a leadoff home run from Michael Massey. It's his first leadoff home run in his career. And then Pasquantino hits one 2 batters later and Bobby Witt next inning. And you get up 3-0, and then just some defensive woes kind of fell apart on you. And Michael Wacha had a hell of a game today. I mean, he gutted it out, got through 6, and then the wheels kind of fell apart. And they had to go to Lucas Erceg in the 7th inning. And, he gave up a run, finally. He gave up an earned run, and he let 2 inherited runners score. But, hell, there's been more people walk on the moon than have scored or crossed home plate with Lucas Erceg on the mound in a Royals uniform.
Yeah. He's been pretty much lights out. And you did speak of somebody who I I don't know how I feel about Aaron Judge. I really don't. I know he's a talent. That's undeniable. I'm just not. I don't have. There's something that is missing for me. Even when you had Trout, when he was doing his thing, I thought, man, that's somebody I could get behind. Who I just had this flair. I was excited to watch him play. I just feel kind of blah about Judge, but guy, he's putting up big numbers.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's one of 5 people in the history of Major League Baseball to have 3 50 home run seasons. And 3 of them, McGuire, Sosa, and A-Rod, they don't count. They're not going to get in the Hall of Fame. And the other one is Babe Ruth. And when you're on a list where you and Babe Ruth are among the only ones to do that, that's impressive. And I think that people ought to start talking more about him. And he's 30. I mean, this isn't like he's going away next year.
Yeah, I hear you, Coach. If you had to end this segment, Coach, if you had to go AL MVP, who'd you pick?
Gosh, I've got to go with Bobby Witt Jr. I'm playing Homer right now, but with the showing that he had in the home run derby, I think that kind of propelled his chances. And then the second half, well, the season that he's had, but he's particularly had a really good second half, and catching some of those highlights that people around, sports writers and people that have votes are starting to see. So if I was a betting man, I would probably bet a small fortune on Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, your small fortune ain't gonna be a lot. Your little fortune ain't number $2, $3. Don't put that money out there, Coach. Hey, listen up, everyone. Don't go anywhere. You listen to Huddle Up here on the Bambino's Fine Italian Studio on the Missouri Sports Network. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come right back. We're gonna talk about the Chiefs, a little Missouri State, a little MU football. We got a lot to talk about. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Hi, I'll have the avocado toast minus the avocado.
So, toast.
Yeah. Everything is so expensive these days. Hey, Chevy gets it. That's why they're keeping prices down to earth, like on the most affordable EV in America. A super strong and capable Chevy truck. And a high-tech Chevy SUV. Why is Chevy making affordable vehicles connected by OnStar? It's so together, we can do more.
Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank. We do banking better.
Welcome back, everyone. I told you we would not be gone that long. I hope you didn't miss us. You're listening to Huddle Up here inside of the Bambino's Fine Italian Studio on the Missouri Sports Network. Once again, I'm Johnny Mack. That's Coach DA, and that's my guy, the scoreboard guy. That's what we call him. That's what he's going to go by tonight, scoreboard guy. Here we go. Let's talk about a little football here. Hey, we're not going to jump into it a lot. Missouri State has a lot to prove next year. They're kind of in a they can't win any championships this year. They can't go to the playoffs, but they are doing something that should have been done 10 to 15 years ago. They're moving up to the FBS, and they're opening up in Montana, and that'll be a good challenge for them on the road. And then, Mizzou opens up against Murray State tomorrow. I think that'll be on ESPN or one of the National Plus channels. You think Mizzou will put up big numbers?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they're preseason ranked number 12, and they've got this new playoff system, and Mizzou's likely to be there. They're going to start 4-0, before they head into maybe Auburn. They're in week 5, but they've got Buffalo and, Murray State and teams like Vanderbilt, I think, is their 4th game. They've got an opportunity to make a run early and establish themselves as maybe a top 10 team, depending on how that week 5 game, is at Texas A&M. I apologize. But before they get to that game, they may go in there with 2 ranked teams.
Coach, it'll be interesting to see how both of those schools start off. There's another school that's kind of in the middle of Missouri that I'm really excited to see what's going to happen about. Central Missouri Mules have a quarterback that's making some noise out there in the professional ranks, Zach Zabrowski, Coach. I heard he's a real deal, Coach. What have you heard?
Yeah, from what I've seen, he is the real deal. Had a great season last year. He's back again this year, and the Mules as a team are very good. I think they're preseason number 2 in the nation in NCAA Division II. And when you have the likes of Northwest Missouri State, Pittsburgh State, Missouri Western in your conference, let alone they're going to be on a schedule every year. That's quite an accomplishment in itself, just in the preseason polls being ranked number 2. So big things should happen. MIAA is going to be tough as always, and that's just a meat grinder to get through. But it'll be interesting to see where they come out at the end of the heap, so to speak.
We're definitely going to with all our colleges next week. State of Missouri, we're going to make sure we keep you up to date on what they're doing and who's making noise and who might be having a disappointing season. But let's move on for right now and just talk about the Chiefs. And here's what I'm going to tell you right now. It's going to be some bad days in my house. If by chance the Royals win the World Series and the Chiefs win a Super Bowl, I'm telling you what, it's going to be some smoke in the city. I'm going to tear up some things around here. There's going to be glasses and broken. There's going to be furniture busted up. A couple TVs I'm going to have to either repair or replace because I don't think I could take it. But the Chiefs cut their roster down to 53, big fella. And there was some significant signing they did afterwards and some significant releases. Guy, what do you know about some of the people they picked up and let go?
Well, they released Kadarius Toney, and that's been a long time in coming. He had one reception, in the preseason for -4 yards, and he tipped the ball that got intercepted. And they went out and they brought back wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, and then they signed Justin Ross to the practice squad. And then they went out and got the quarterback, at New England, Bailey Zappi, who people were talking about. He got a few starts in New England. They went out and signed him to the practice squad. So, and they open up, a week from today versus Baltimore, and they've got a tough schedule. They could be 0-2 going into Atlanta, or maybe 0-3 going into Atlanta, and that's not a friendly place to play. And they got Kirk Cousins, at quarterback. So it's going to be a Herculean task to make it to the Super Bowl, let alone win it.
Coach, let me put you on the spot. Chiefs, the numbers don't say so. It's just tough to win 3. No one's ever done it in a row. Coach, they got a chance?
I think they do. Hey, 2-time defending champions. Till somebody knocks them off, they definitely have a chance. They have the firepower on offense. I think it all comes back down to defense again. And, I believe that with some time, there's some new faces on the offensive side of the ball. But yeah, I do. I really think they have a legit shot.
Man, I come on here every year and I just try to just be as totally against the Chiefs as I can. And I mean, it just breaks my heart when they win. I don't have good weeks. I don't sleep. Food don't taste the same. I don't like water anymore. Beer tastes nasty. It's just so much that happens when they won the Super Bowl. It takes me a pure month. I mean, every bit of 31 days. A leap year wouldn't work. It takes me 31 days to get over it. And then they start this stuff with the Royals winning. I just need a barf bag. You know what? But good for them on Kansas City side. But you know what? There's a couple things. There's a question I want to ask y'all. And Guy, I think I'll start with you. If you could have one NFL player, I don't care when they played, Guy, in their prime, not just someone who's older or whatever, and that would guarantee you a 3rd straight Super Bowl, who would that be?
Well, there's part of me that wants to say Derek Thomas, a former Chief. Obviously we lost him at a young age, but then there's part of me too that says, hey, maybe Larry Allen in his prime to protect Patrick Mahomes, or a Deion Sanders, maybe a lockdown corner guy in their prime. Those are guys that come to my mind when I think about if you could add one player in their prime from any era, to that Chiefs roster, who would it be? And those 3 guys kind of come to my mind.
Man, that ain't a bad one, Coach. I'm before you go. I'm going to say Randy Moss. Someone can stretch that field. That'd be a problem. Coach, who would you say?
I'm going to have to go on the defensive end and with Mean Joe Green back from the
Ooh,
steel curtain.
nice.
I'm going to throw it back, way back,
Nice.
old school style, but I really like the way he played and the defense. Mean Joe Green, Jack Lambert, that whole steel curtain defense. Pick any of them,
Yeah.
and throw them in there, and the defense automatically gets better.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Let me ask you one more question before we move to the next topic. Outside of Mahomes or Kelsey or Chris Jones, I don't know if I can answer this question fairly, but who would you think the most important player would be? I'll open up with probably saying Rashid Rice. I don't know, maybe Pacheco. What do you say, Coach? Who outside of Mahomes, Kelsey, or Jones? I mean, who would be the next most important player on the Chiefs team?
I think it's Isaiah Pacheco. There's got to be some balance in that high-powered offense. They can't rely just on Mahomes' arm and Kelsey and the receiving crew. I think if he provides a good balance to that offense, they can put up some gaudy numbers.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Guy. What do you think about that? Who do you think? Who would you say?
Well, with the new kickoff rules, I'm gonna lean towards Harrison Butker. I mean, he is probably statistically one of the best kickers in the history of the NFL. And with the new kickoff rules, if they can start at the 30 or the 40-yard line, they got to go 20 yards, and it's 3 points on the board. And I think if he has a great season, plus his ability to drop that football, between the goal line and the 5-yard line to force a return, I think that next most important player on the team is Butker, just because he can put up points and he's good from anywhere on the field.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's not a bad pick at all. I wouldn't have picked him. I didn't pick him. You did. But I ain't mad at you for it. I ain't mad at you. Hey, everyone. You are right now listening to three of the finest gentlemen you'll find in the southwest region of Missouri. I'm Johnny Mack. That's DA. And that's Guy Newcomb. Well, I'll say this. You are listening to 2.5. Me and Coach, and we'll take half of a Newcomb, and we'll try to make that work out. Hey, don't go anywhere. You're listening to Huddle Up. You're inside Bambino's Fine Italian Studios on the Missouri Sports Network. We'll be right back. Don't go.
The Walnut Street Inn is located in the heart of Springfield on historic Walnut Street, just blocks away from the Missouri State Campus, Hammons Field, Great Southern Arena, and downtown Springfield. The Walnut Street Inn features newly remodeled rooms, breakfast served daily, and a friendly, accommodating staff. The Walnut Street Inn is also a great venue for private events. Book your stay or get more information at walnutstreetinn.com or call 417-864-6346.
We believe banking should make your life greater. It starts with affordable options to meet today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. From smart account options that fit your style to flexible loans for what comes next. It means convenient ways to access and manage your money whenever you need it and wherever you're headed. Most of all, it takes great support. Someone you can count on for trusted guidance and to be there for you every step of the way. Great options, great convenience, great support for life. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters.
We're back. You're listening to Huddle Up here inside of Bambino's Fine Italian Studio on the Missouri Sports Network. There's three of us here. 1, 2, and 3. And when you listen and think about all the great threesomes on TV, here's what I think of. Mo, Larry, and Curly. Now we got to figure out who is who around here. Who's going to be Mo? Who's going to be Larry? Who's going to be Curly? I like to be Mo. I always thought Mo was the ringleader. He kind of ran stuff, got to smack you around. Very rarely did he get smacked. Anybody want to be Curly?
I'll volunteer.
There you go. There you go. There you go. I love it. I love it. We got ourselves a trio here. You're listening to the fellas here, better known as the Three Stooges tonight. Hey, we're gonna jump right into some things. This is a really great time. It's kind of a weird deal. I looked at the weather forecast. It's been mid-90s to heat index into 100, and then Friday, when all this glamour starts, and we're supposed to start the big high school football, it's supposed to rain, and so it's kind of weird how this works out. But regardless of that, as long as the lightning stays away, we're still gonna have some good games. Guy, there's some great teams and some good games. What would you call one of the games of the week, Guy?
Well, I tell you what, that Republic-Nixa game, is going to be epic. I mean, you've got a Republic team that went to the Class 5 state championship a year ago. You've got a Nixa team that has a historically good offensive line. I mean, the left side of their line, they've got 2 All-Staters, and Jackson Cantwell is the number 1 recruited lineman in the country. And he just got his driver's license. 6'8", 310 pounds, and went to the high school Olympics and threw the shot. That's probably the biggest game. Cardinal Ritter Jackson is a great game. Cardinal Ritter has won 28 in a row. They've won the Class 4 and then the Class 5 state title game in the last 2 years. Jackson has been historically good in football. And they got Webb City traveling to Lebanon. They have met before in the postseason, but never at Lebanon. It's always been at Webb City, and that's part of that new COC conference. So there are a lot of great opening games. Maryville travels to Blair Oaks, 2 historically good programs there as well. So just really looking forward to Friday night as it gets kicked off around the state. And I'm glad the weather's going to break a little bit because it's pretty dang hot out there right now.
Yeah, it is hot out there, but that's kind of how the first couple of games usually go. You kind of get used to it. Coach, are you listening? Are you looking at any games on the calendar, and you got any circles on any of them? But just saying, man, that's going to be a good one.
Not necessarily. I think there's going to be a lot of good games statewide. Yeah. Guy mentioned probably some of the premier games throughout the state, but there's a lot of teams that had a lot of success last year, and I'm more looking at those type of teams that, made a deep run in the state playoffs, lost some key players, and how they're going to react coming into this year. So, and pick up the pieces and fill the gap, so to speak. So, there ought to be some awfully good games week 1, and I expect that will take place every Friday night on football fields across the state.
Man, that's exciting times. I just love it. I love it. I know I read a couple things about CBC up in the St. Louis area and DeSmet trying to make a comeback this year, and it's always going to be interesting to see what Cardinal Ritter does. Cardinal Ritter is a private school for those of you that don't know. We played them, and I went to Brentwood and Cardinal Ritter. They were one of the schools we played all the time, and they're a smaller school. I'm telling you what, if Cardinal Ritter got 500 people in it, 500 students, I'd be surprised. But they, like you said, you can do a little recruiting. You can be more specific on the kids that come. But it's going to be interesting to see how they can defend their titles because they've been loaded with talent the last couple of years. Hey, gentlemen, we'll have more for you the next week because we'll kind of see what teams performed, what teams didn't. We'll have a lot more to talk about. This is a Labor Day weekend, so that's going to be a great weekend. But before we go anywhere, I want y'all to please go to Netflix if you got it, and they have a documentary on the guy Connor Stallion that did the sign stealing in Michigan. And if you get a chance to look at it, it is highly entertaining and highly interesting. Have any of you guys got a chance to look at it?
I have watched about the first hour of it. I didn't realize that he went to the Naval Academy. Yeah. And that's where he first started stealing signs.
Yeah. Coach, he made it into a science, Coach. If you get a chance to see it, Coach, I'll send you my Netflix password because I know you be acting cheap. But look here. It is so interesting, Coach, and for our listeners and viewers out there, if you get a chance to look at it, it's amazing what he did and how smart this kid is, this young man is, to come up with the sign stealing. And Michigan definitely did benefit from it, but they were overly talented as well. But with that being said, everyone, it is Labor Day weekend, and there's always something going on. I want to make sure our viewers are being safe out there and being smart. But, Coach, you got any big plans this weekend?
I do. I plan on sitting on my back deck, getting that smoker rolling, and I'm going to cook as many ribs as I can, racks of ribs as I can between Saturday and Monday afternoon.
And watch some college game day.
Absolutely.
Well, it starts tomorrow with Colorado open up against North Dakota State. And so we'll see. That's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. Guy, what do you got?
Well, I wasn't sure, but now I'm going to spend the the weekend on Archer's back porch.
Open invitation, boys.
Hey, I might meet y'all up there. Hey, everyone! Look, it's that time of year. We're excited. We're here to give you all the latest and updates on all the high schools and sports here in our great state of Missouri, the Show Me State. And so what we want to do is we want to invite you back every week. Tell a friend, come back to listen to Huddle Up, or you can watch us on one of our TV social media platforms. And we're always welcoming new guests. Send us a text message, send us something on Twitter, send us an email. We're always open to answering those things live on the air. This is Huddle Up on the Missouri Sports Network inside of Bambino's Italian Dining Studio. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing. We appreciate you. Have a safe weekend. God, tell them what they should be doing with their buckles in their car, my friend.
I tell you what, the Missouri Highway Patrol reminds us, hey, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.
Absolutely. God, one more thing before we get out of here. Tell me about the quarterback club. When is he sipping off?
Quarterback Club will start September the 9th at Bambino's, with this Monday being Labor Day. You know, coaches are out of school, and Bambino's actually closed. They give their employees that day off as well. So we'll start up a week from this Monday on September the 9th, noon.
Good. Look forward to seeing everyone there. Thank you for listening. We truly appreciate your viewership. And everyone, please be safe out there this weekend. Have a good one. For the Three Stooges, also known as Johnny Mack, Guy Newcomb, and Darren Archer, we're going to get out of here.
This has been a presentation